That's it's that's a key word for us. Vendor, for as for Northgate as a company, vendor relationship has been paramount from day one. If you ever hear our president Don Miguel Gonzalez, he always talks about passionately about the relationship between us and our vendors. He's got great memories from his days when he started, and how vendors were really helpful and instrumental for his business. And that is exactly the what's happening through all these crises that we're going through right now. For example, in my slides, I have that the as we all know, the main thing when this thing starting in around March 15, everybody ran and emptied the shelves. And in the case of produce, the same. The hardest hit was grocery, as you all know, and the infamous bathroom tissue supply, which hopefully we don't get to see that again ever. But there was other items. In the case of meat, which I was like I said on my slide, we never at the beginning we didn't have a problem, and through this crisis, if you compare with the different departments in the store, meat and produce have always done okay. We haven't had any major problems. The problems were on the grocery side. I would say the supply. The other thing that helped us big time is that we have our own distribution center. Well, self-sufficient in that matter. All the produce comes through our distribution center. All the meat comes through our distribution center. So that and the ability to buy direct and have great relationships with our vendors helped us with that for not having any problem with supplies. Uh, Back then when it started and when they're to Julian's point with when the onset where the slaughterhouse and the packing houses started having problems, that's when this prices started to kind of get affected. At the beginning it was okay. Now we can see there is, I mean, never seen, I mean, in my life, I've never seen ranchera over $10, but that's the norm. So for that matter, through the crisis, nobody promoted. I mean, you would see no ads. Typically, at least here in California, every Tuesday you get your package. And for my personal uh, view, I get no less than 10 grocery offers from competitors around my home. In the for the first 3 months, you didn't see that. I mean, everybody just stopped promoting. Um, So again, like I mentioned, the outbreaks, the prices went up. The vendor relationship, again, it is a big deal for us. So for that, because of that, we never had any shortages. I mean, we always had plenty. We knock on wood, still have plenty of product to serve our customers. No limits. When this thing got with the outbreaks got really on when they peaked, and some especially like the clubs, and they had limits. You could only buy so much. We thankfully were not affected by that. We always had plenty, so that's a blessing. And you got to keep in mind that just like any Hispanic market, meat is the soul of our business. Meat and produce are the main thing. So and I got this on my slide, holidays. So when I say markets resumes promoting and holidays, I'm talking about Memorial and July 4th. Um, so that was thankfully everything seemed supply and prices were okay. So everybody started promoting. And to give you just a point of comparison, we ran out of charcoal before we ran out of meat. So it was easier to get meat than charcoal. So that just to give you a comparison there. So if Anthony, if I can get my next slide, sir, thank you. On the produce side, in the beginning, again, like produce, like grocery, the panic buying. And according to Javier, our Bautista, our VP of produce, that was, they cleaned up the market. The LA market was cleaned up at the beginning of the pandemic because of the panic buying. But then everything started rolling back. And I guess to Tom's point on the food service, I guess the food service channel got was able to convert it to retail. So that gave us the opportunity on the produce side, again, just like meat, we were okay, we never suffered, except for at the beginning, the bulk rice and beans. That was a challenge. But that only lasted a couple of weeks. But then everything went well. We stopped selling bulk items, as many as you see, a lot of people did that. So right now, our prices are pretty much stable. You can't, comparing produce and meat, and I'm speaking from a retailer perspective, produce prices have been pretty stable. You can say there might be even opportunities for more promoting. So thanks to the people that Tom showed in that video, that's really, and my hat's off to them. And I really relate to them. My dad was a picker. He picked artichokes in Castroville, California. So my hat's off to those people. Without them, I mean, we wouldn't be eating. And it's really, it's a tough job. I could never done it if I tried. So now the thing is, everything, the demand is on bagged. People don't want their produce touched, but I guess packaged salads are bigger now than they were. And again, it might seem like okay, what do you mean by packaged salads? From a Hispanic retail perspective, even though we were doing good, we're even doing better. So hopefully, and Tom is the expert, the labor shortage, I don't know if we see that, and I know, speaking from other categories in the stores, for example, from Mexico, we're seeing problems with beer, for example. Beer is, as you know, it's a big item. Modelo is the #1 beer from Constellation Brands. We're having problems. They closed Nogales port of entry now, so it's been an issue. And I'm just saying this, I don't know if the same problem that the beer is going through, that's going to affect the produce, and Tom knows better than I do, coming from Mexico.